mastermind. I went to mastermind in November and it wasn't very well. And I think the flights and then the aircon there and everything just accelerated that chest infection. I was ill all through December, all through January, and ended up with flu and then in hospital with pneumonia. So I haven't really worked properly for months, just because I did as much as I needed to do because I was too ill, really. And literally was either in hospital or in bed in February. So in March, like, I need to do something to earn some money, and I need to crack on, really. And I just sat at home before the new system, the new remote system, making calls and trying to get some appointments and you know, earn some money. I mean, when your why means that you haven't got any money and you need to earn some money, it really does focus the mind. And so I started doing that in March, and I did all right in March. And then in April, I worked just as hard, and I literally signed up one customer. I worked with the team a lot. I carried on working, and then at the beginning of May, I finally hit STL. And then I just thought I need to do something else, you know, to get customers. And I was going on as many teaching Zooms as I could while we were in lockdown. So obviously I haven't been out this year, and so I was doing all sorts. And I just decided, I've always tried to do referrals, but never been very good at them. So I sort of took Craig Casey's method, which works fantastically for Craig, but a lot of us aren't Craig. And I couldn't do that last bit. I just couldn't get that bit where I sat there and got the names, because I've got the cheek that Craig's got. You know, he's got that lovely naughtiness about him. And so I needed to change that slightly to fit my personality. And I kind of just did. You know, you do it naturally, I think. You do stuff naturally that suits you. And I did some specific calls to ask for referrals, but I did them with existing customers and with new customers, just with everybody really, and just sort of slightly tweaked it.
So with referrals now, so last month, where did you get all the appointments from the referrals? What did you say to your customers and existing customers, and how did you approach that? How many customers did you sign up? Quite a lot, you know, more than 6 in a day. So I'm assuming
in May. Well, in May I actually only signed up 4, and I signed up 4 with a new starter. So I didn't actually. I think they're all referrals, probably.
Referral customers, they all count. So yeah, whether they're for you or for new people, they all count for your numbers. So,
yeah, I think I have several different approaches. I mean, I do slightly differently. The appointments, I always tell people why I'm calling. I always ask people, and I just say that I'm doing an MOT, a free MOT on their outgoings, and would anybody like me to look and see if I can reduce those outgoings, especially now where we're in such difficult times. And you know, it was quite easy to say at the beginning, you know, now that people have got a little bit more time to get their paperwork out, and I get all the information before I start. And if I get the information, it's clear that I'm not going to be able to sign the customer up. I give them a quick call and say, I'm really sorry I can't help you today, although, and there's probably a reason why we can't sign them up, isn't there? Sometimes it's that they're on a really, really ridiculously cheap energy, and you think that just can't be right for the amount of kilowatt hours they're using. They're going to end up with a bill. So I basically say that to them, say, look, go and get a meter reading, call your provider and get a bill. And then after I've helped them with whatever it is, I say to them, look, I know I couldn't help you, but do you know anybody else that may need an MOT or review? Because, you know, obviously it's helped you, even though I didn't like sign you up as a customer. And I literally say, if I just pop you a text with a bit of a script, you don't have to say it word for word, but it's really simple. It just says that I did an MOT on your utilities. It's really helpful. Didn't take long, worth a look. Shall I ask her to call you? And that's literally all I ask. So whatever scenario I'm in, if I sign them up, I say the same. I did an MOT, I managed to help them save some money, and they've got some extra benefits. It didn't take long. It's worth a look. Shall I ask her to call you? the way I get my most referrals, in all honesty, is existing customers. And that's by going back to them. And again, I do a little bit of a review on their account, especially if they're a double gold customer, the month before their energy is due to run out. And I phone up and I find out how much it will be if they go on to the next fixed rate. Because as we know, most people don't even read the letter, so they go on to a standard variable rate. So find out how much it will be, give them a call, tell them, ask if they want to run through anything else on their bill while I'm there. And because then I've helped them, I say, look, you know, I've helped you today. I wonder, do you know anybody else that I just may be able to help full stop? If I drop you a text, could you say this? And it's the same thing, you know. She came around, she did a review on our existing bill, saved us some extra money. It didn't take long. Shall I ask her to give you a call? And then if they're non-double gold customers, I find out how much it would cost them, or how much less it would cost them to be a double gold customer. So some customers won't ever be a double gold customer, we know that, but many for different reasons didn't join as double gold. So it helps you not only then possibly upgrade your residual earnings, but it also gives you that opportunity to ask for referrals. So that, you know, that's really what I've been doing, literally reviewing my existing customers, trying to help them out, and any new customers, you know, making sure that I ask. And I ask at the beginning, when I start the appointment, I tell them that referrals are the lifeblood of my business, and I am going to ask them for some. Through the presentation, you get the opportunity to ask, and then at the end, I ask them again. But I actually asked them this time and say, can I just drop you the text? Because I found, however I asked for their names and numbers, many people still weren't happy to give me phone numbers. So I thought, what's the point in fighting them? Let's just do it a different way.
Yeah. Yeah. So I like that. So MOT, can I save you, show you how, see if I can save you some extra money, obviously in these difficult times. There's some extra benefits, worth a look. And shall I ask them to call you? Just a little
Yeah,
test.
I actually tried to say, see if I can reduce your outgoings rather than save you money on your bills, because I think it just, especially at the minute, it resonates. Lots of people have got lots of outgoings, and I don't know, I just find that it works better for me to say that.
So there's a few little things that you also said, that you always try and get all of the bills before you start the appointment.
Always. I've got this little form. I don't know if you can see it, and it actually needs a bit of a review, but basically, can you see here, it's got landline, broadband in the order that it comes, and if they were a double gold customer, I write how much it would cost, and next to it I write their existing amount.
Yeah.
Obviously the double gold, we get the order now, the order so far, which is really helpful, but on there it gives me the opportunity to write down, you know, at the minute the £50 smart meter, before it was the 150, and sort of go through it. And then with this form, if they don't become a customer folder, and it gets diarised to follow up next year.
Gotcha. Like that.
And I just know where I am with it as well then. I mean, sometimes they still don't sign, you know what it's like. And actually sometimes the ones that you couldn't save any money particularly, still sign because they like the single bill. So I never actually write it off, which is why I always call them back.
So Claire, what do you do? What business what did you do? Do you do this full time now?
Almost. I don't usually. I teach upholstery, and losing a lot of money through not teaching, and haven't been able to teach, you know, really since the middle of December. And you can maybe see behind me, I've been making some curtains and blinds and doing upholstery, and actually filming upholstery classes, so I can earn a residual income by doing some work now, and hopefully people sign up to my classes later. So you know, using residual income in another way. But I have pretty much been doing utility at warehouse. You know, I did the 21-2100 challenge, and that massively made a difference, because you are doing something every day, and doing 21 things every day, it was exhausting, if I'm truthful, because I didn't just send out 21 texts. I thought that was a pointless exercise.
Yeah.
So even when I did 3 appointments myself and 3 with my new starter, I did 14 appointments with him in May whilst I did that, supported. I still did the additional 16, 17 points by doing something else, because I just thought if you're going to do it, you may as well do it properly, because otherwise it's pointless, isn't it?
Absolutely. See, that gave you some good momentum. So is your diary full for June already as well before you started?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got, lots of these ready to call people back. I've got some that were hanging over from last month for whatever reason. I've found, and I don't know if you've all found this, but lots of customers are struggling because they can't get the information to give us to do the comparison, because they can't get through to their customers, to their providers, because their providers are only open if you phone the sales line. So actually what I've done quite a lot, and it's paid off, is said to them, look, you could spend absolutely ages on the phone trying to get this information. You've got 14 days to cancel with Utility Warehouse. When we sign you up, literally tomorrow, you'll find out what these figures are, because your existing provider will phone you, will text you, will email you, whatever they do, and they'll tell you how much it's going to cost you to leave them. So, let's do that. You can then call up and sign and cancel your Utility Warehouse account if you need to. And I literally haven't had anybody had to cancel by doing that.
That's a great way to do it, because the reality is not being able to get through is a big problem for most customers.
Yeah,
Really.
yeah, absolutely. And so it's just, I know that so I never counted that I'd signed it up, if you see what I mean, until after we'd had the emails and we knew that everything was okay. I knew that we might be signing them up and they might cancel, but nobody has had to, because either their early terms were really small, or we covered it pretty much anyway.
So your new starter that you've got, they're obviously doing referrals and getting referrals of their friends in exactly the same way, because you're doing the appointments with them. And
yeah, and he was a referral as well.
So and how's that working in the rest of your team? Is that starting to duplicate and grow?
It is, and I'm trying to work with the team sort of individually. I've got a couple of people that I'm working very hard with now, because I want to get them to TL, and then I've got a TL leg that I'm trying to get to STL. So really concentrating there to start with, to get it so that it flows, and then I'm trying to work with people on a sort of one-to-one basis afterwards, to really, because I think you can put this stuff out there and people are busy, aren't they? They're homeschooling, they're doing this, they're doing that. So it's about giving your team a little bit of time individually. So it may take longer, but I think in the long run, it works better.
Cool. Right, does anybody else in here want to ask Claire anything? You're all muted, so you can unmute yourselves. I can unmute it, I'll unmute everyone, or you can unmute yourselves and ask a question.
How long have you been doing this for?
I've been in the business for 5 years.
Yeah.
And, what I always say to people is that I'm never a superstar or a racehorse. I am literally a donkey, and I just keep plodding on. I always touch my business every day. I always did, but it might have only been in small ways. Talking to people, and when you're out practicing, talking to people, also, things like that. But I always did something. But when you need to pay the bills, and it's an opportunity is right there, it makes you kind of think, thank goodness, and work on it a little bit harder. And the great thing is, you can then ease back a bit. You don't have to keep on doing 21 a day and really pushing it out. But even I think that even if you did a week of doing 10 a day, you would get enough business, and then if you did that the next month, you would get enough momentum, is what I'm trying to say, by doing that additional thing. If you did 10 a day for a week, for once a month, it would make a massive difference. And I think probably most people could do that. It's got to be doable for people, hasn't it?
Yeah, because I did start before Christmas, but then didn't have time to do it because we were going on away, and then obviously all this happened with COVID-19, and unfortunately I'm a contractor, so they, you know, we don't get furloughed. We were just sent home, and my boss has now said I won't go back until the end of September. And I contacted the accountant, and I'm not due anything because of the way we do a payroll yearly, me and my husband, because I work for a company, we do it under our own sort of business.
Yeah.
I've got until September, but I do need to obviously earn money to bring it in. So I've got, I think, 3 customers now, and somebody's just joined me, but I'm quite new. So I have got somebody, Lisa's supporting me, Lisa Ware. So
yeah.
lucky. But yeah, so I do need to get it up and running. I just, you know, so that obviously I've got some income.
I just always think, you know, the worst thing that can happen when you pick the phone up is that somebody doesn't want you at this minute. And that doesn't mean that they won't want to talk to you another time.
No.
Because you're like nice when you speak to them, and you know, one thing I always do, I always, when I'm ringing somebody and I want to talk to them about UW, I always say that first. Even if I then say, if you know, I would say, oh hi, you know, it's Claire. Listen, I'm calling with my work head or with my UW head on, but how are you? So I'd ask them how they are straight away, but I always let people know that's why I'm calling in the very first place, because I found that, you know, if you got on a call and you just sort of went rambling into how are you and la 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 la, you'd have this massive long call, and then you couldn't really say, oh, I want to talk to you about, because it seemed disingenuous then. So I always say right up front that I'm calling with my work head on, you know, or if I ask people to call, because I talk to people a lot on Facebook, so I don't put anything on Facebook about the business other than
I don't do Facebook actually.
I'm doing. No, but it's a great way to be in contact with a lot of people and to keep up to date with people.
Yeah.
And, you know, on Messenger, I might just say, look, could I have a quick chat with you about work? So I'll always say, because I don't want to come across that I'm almost like people think I'm phoning them for a chat and then I'm phoning them for something.
Yeah, I think you're right there, yeah.
It doesn't sit comfortably. And I think that kind of helps.
Yeah, because sometimes they say, oh, don't mention it, and then people say, look, what is it? They get quite cross and sort of like, well, am I going to have to spend any money or anything? Whereas I think it's better to say, look, I'm doing this to help you save. Just can you have a look and see what you think?
Yeah, but I think when you're new, it's okay, isn't it, to say, look, I've started something new, can I come and show you? That isn't being, but I just find, and even before, I used to do this before, because if I was going to travel, I don't know, say 40 minutes, 45 minutes, and get there and waste their time and mine, if you like, because for whatever reason, I just thought it seemed a bit daft to me. So when I'm saying to people about, you know, the information, the text I send asking for, because I actually send a text after the call saying what I need, you know, I need an address and landline phone number.
Yeah.
Are you in any contracts for your telephony? What tariff to get on your mobile? You know, that sort of thing. And then I ask what you pay at the end. And I always say, I'll take a look, and if I can help you, I'll give you a call back, and we can arrange time to have a chat. So they're expecting me to ring back, and they're expecting, if I can save money, to have a chat.
Yeah.
And when I do go back to them, I normally say, you know, we'll need to be in front of a laptop, because so many people you think back and they're like, oh, I'll turn it on then. So it's always worth saying, you know, you need your computer in front of you. And the remote system is so easy. You know, don't be frightened about it. I think all the stuff that's written about how to do it is really confusing. Actually, just do it and you'll see it works for you.
Do you always do yours on Zoom, or do you do it over the phone?
No, I tell you, I normally do it on FaceTime Messenger or WhatsApp calling.
Right, okay.
Or I just phone them.
Yeah.
Quite often when I'm doing an appointment, I don't actually even, you know, do anything other than get on the phone. But when I'm doing supported appointments, I would do it by Messenger or by WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Trish, you got a question?
Well, it's kind of been answered actually. So it was just, how you get all. Hiya, Claire. Sorry.
Hi.
It's just how you get all your information. And I know Lisa very kindly sent me an email last week, and my question and worry at the time was, do people get put off by it being asked these questions? But clearly they don't with you. They're not.
Because I think if you've been really, clear and transparent up front about why you're calling them, and I think it does get a little bit easier with time, to be fair, because people know that I do utility warehouse now. They know that that's what I'm going to probably ask them for. But I still think if you say, I'm going to do a review of your utilities, see if I can reduce your outgoings, well, they would expect that they'd have to give you some information. Now, how could you do it?
Thank you. Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I find people are, and actually, if they don't want to do it at all, they just say, it's not for me.
Yeah.
Which doesn't happen very often. Most people at least let you have a look.
Fabulous.
Thanks, Claire. Thanks.
Claire, may I ask you a question?
Yes.
If there was a predominance, your customer base, who are you reaching out to? Are they elderly? Are they families? Are they youngsters? Predominantly, what's your customer base?
Gosh, I don't know. Probably couples, I would say, and quite often couples with families. But it's just people. It's just anybody that I know. I think I do or used to do quite a lot of networking, and so when you meet people networking, you don't really know what their circumstances are, or just people I know. Because I teach, I've obviously got quite a range, if you like, of people that come to the classes that I've spoken to about it. So I don't honestly know the answer to that. What I do know is definitely demographic makes a difference to the information, and I find that people that are a little bit older that are maybe more nervous about using their technology certainly find it easier to get the information to me in their own time. Whereas the youngsters, they'll just do it there and then on their phone. They'll know their passwords, they'll be able to get in, they're on it. So anybody sort of like 20 to like 40 is kind of on it, and people after that tend to like go, oh, I need to like look at this, so they take a little bit longer to get the information to me. And sometimes I try and help them with that. I do go on a call and help them get their information.
And can I ask you also, you said that you'll often do a call through, I think you said Messenger or WhatsApp. Is that a video call?
When I'm doing supported appointments, we do a video call. Definitely. And I think what's really nice about that, because most of the other people that I'm speaking to, I probably know, and if it's a referral, I might ask them how they prefer it. But when you're doing a supported call, it's really nice for the prospective customer partner to be able to see you and your body language and how you're supporting the person that you're talking to. And I always say to them, we're going to treat this as if you are looking to be a customer or partner, because this is a training video, but sometimes we'll break out and I'll explain something to Ian, his name, I'll explain to Ian, is that okay? And so they kind of feel like they're really helping Ian then.
Correct. Yeah. I have a preference for Zoom because of what you're just saying, that I really want to see the body language. I want to see the facial expressions, because you can tell so much. Having in the past done possibly about 300 referrals, which were just over the phone because there was no alternative then. All the time you're trying to gauge what that silence might be because you can't visually see someone. Yeah. So my preference is always, and I understand that WhatsApp video, and I think you can do it through Facebook Messenger video, is that right?
Yeah, at the top of the page there's either a little phone symbol or a video camera symbol. So you just start the call with either of those and you can add people to the call.
Right. What, on the Messenger one?
Yeah, on both.
Oh, right. Okay. All right. How many people?
Body shape with a plus in it.
How many people could you have on a WhatsApp video call
On
then?
WhatsApp, I think it's either 3 or 4. So Messenger is better because you can have loads on a Messenger. And now Messenger have bought out Messenger rooms. So, you know, they've kind of hopped onto this and made it easier, if you like, to have groups of chat. So
Okay.
it's really
That's interesting. Lovely. Thank you very much for that. Because I'm totally au fait with Zoom, but the other stuff is like sort of new to me. Yeah. In fact, I think I had a Messenger call the other day, and it took me by such surprise. I wasn't expecting it. You know, like all of a sudden there was somebody there.
yeah. It does make it easy, and you're right. It's really so nice to be able to say to the, you know, prospective customer of that person that you don't know at all, you know, really nice to meet you and thanks for your time today. And they can see that you're genuine as well and that you're trying to help. And I think it makes a massive difference, that face-to-face thing.
Well, certainly Jane here, because I've done a couple now with Jane. In fact, we've done 3, haven't we?
Yeah.
And they absolutely realise it's pure practice.
Yeah.
It's absolute practice because I'm in and out explaining the things that I'm doing. But it's at the end of that presentation, I then say that was the presentation. However, I did say to you at the beginning, it would be really quite remiss not to offer you the chance of a comparison. Would you like an apples for apples comparison? And they say yes, don't they?
Yeah, it is really good.
Yeah, thank you, Claire. It's nice to hear there's other ways of doing this. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I've actually been getting Ian to do this, so we know when we go what the information is already, and so we're going to go straight into join the club and do the comparison as well. He signed up for, so he was pretty pleased with himself.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well done, Claire. I'm looking forward to seeing you on that leaderboard again, and yeah. And
oh, no pressure.
Thanks very much for giving us your time and sharing. Thanks everyone for joining us. And any last questions before we go, or can we call it a day in half an hour? Exactly, because we are awesome. Thank you very much. Have a fun day.
Thanks, Claire.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you, Claire.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.